Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're embarking on a journey, really asking a fundamental question. When you think of a hero, what truly comes to mind?
Hmm.
Is it just brute strength? You know, the glint of a sword, maybe this towering figure of
Right,
invincibility?
this sort of comic book image almost.
Exactly. We're going far beyond that surface image today. We're
Okay.
plunging into the very essence of ancient Greek heroism.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do that through the lenses of two really iconic figures, Heracles and Theseus.
Two huge ones.
Yeah, you might know their names, sure, but their impact on ancient Greek civilization was far more profound than just their legendary feats.
Absolutely.
This deep dive isn't just about, physical prowess. It's about purpose, destiny, that intricate dance with the divine,
Yes.
and the very foundations upon which cities and societies were actually built. Prepare to maybe redefine what hero truly means.
Yeah, and it's remarkable how our sources, the material we're looking at, really illuminate that these heroes weren't merely characters in entertaining stories. Not at all.
Yeah.
They served as vital bridges, you could say, between the human and divine realm.
Bridges, I like that.
Yeah, and they were actively shaping moral codes, political structures, even the fundamental identity of entire city-states.
Wow.
Our material offers an incredible exploration into the concept of heroism itself. Then it really hones in on these two towering figures, Heracles and Theseus, before meticulously connecting their individual sagas, their stories, to the broader cultural fabric of ancient Greece.
So it's context.
It's context. This isn't just mythology. It's like a window into the ancient Greek soul.
So for you, our listener, what is our compass on this journey? What's the goal here?
Right.
Well, our mission is to excavate the rich layers of meaning hidden within these epic tales.
Dig deep.
Exactly. We want to understand not just what these heroes achieved, but why their actions resonated so deeply with the Greeks.
Yes, the why.
And critically, why their stories continue to captivate and challenge us today, thousands of years later. We're seeking those profound, often surprising insights that make these myths, well, eternally relevant. So when we typically envision a hero in our modern world, we often picture individual achievement.
Yeah, someone who stands out alone.
Maybe a celebrity status tied to a singular act of bravery or some remarkable skill. It's a very personal narrative of triumphs.
It's often, yeah.
But ancient Greece harbored a far richer, more complex understanding. Our sources make it abundantly clear that these foundational figures were often semi-divine.
That's a key starting point, semi-divine.
That lineage immediately sets them apart. They weren't just exceptional humans who trained really hard.
No.
They were inherently more existing in this unique sort of liminal space between the earthly and the celestial.
Between worlds.
Exactly. And this wasn't just a descriptor. It was a testament to their extraordinary nature, their unique connection to divine will. And crucially, it imbued their actions with a weight and significance that far transcended mere human capability.
It gave them cosmic importance.
Yeah, their very existence blurred the lines between the mortal and the immortal, giving their deeds this cosmic resonance.
And if we zoom out a bit from that, the sources consistently emphasize that heroism in Greek mythology was never solely about immense physical strength or just excelling in warfare.
Right, not just muscles.
Not just muscles. While raw power was certainly a component, absolutely, it was profoundly intertwined with spiritual virtues and an unwavering commitment to the collective good. These heroes weren't lone wolves pursuing personal glory.
No, me-first attitude.
Not typically, no. Their heroism was fundamentally about service to society, about ensuring justice, and actively preserving communal welfare.
So community-focused.
Very much so. Think
Yeah.
about it. Achilles, maybe he fought for personal glory and renown. Cleos. But Heracles and Theseus, in particular, were defined by their direct contributions to the value systems of their communities. Well, their most iconic deeds, slaying monsters, clearing roads of bandits, unifying regions, these directly benefited their cities, their people, sometimes even all of humankind.
Okay, I see. Practical benefits.
Practical benefits. This deeply communal aspect of heroism is a crucial distinction from many modern interpretations, They acted for the collective, reflecting the interdependent and civic-minded nature of ancient Greek society.
The polis.
Exactly, the polis, where the individual's worth was often measured by their contribution to the polis.
And this is where I think the brilliance truly shines. Around the 8th century BC, Homer's monumental epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Foundational texts.
Absolutely. They didn't just tell stories. They actively crystallized the concept of the hero. They ensured these narratives transcended local folklore and became integral to the Panhellenic cultural consciousness.
They went viral, ancient style.
Kind of. Before Homer, many of these might have been fragmented, regional legends.
Just local tales.
Yeah. But his genius wove them into this grand, cohesive narrative tapestry. Figures like Achilles, the personification of martial prowess and that tragic, passionate defiance. And Odysseus, the master of cunning, endurance, navigation through all those perilous unknowns.
The ultimate survivor.
Right. They became profound reflections of both human greatness and, crucially, human fallibility.
The flaws are key.
Totally. It's that exquisite balance, their extraordinary abilities tempered by very human flaws like hubris, wrath, longing, that makes them so relatable, even millennia later.
They weren't perfect statues.
Not at all. They weren't sanitized paragons. They struggled, they erred, they felt immense grief and crippling rage.
Like real people, just amplified.
Yeah, exactly. It was precisely these deeply human imperfections, interwoven with their godlike capabilities, that resonated so deeply with the ancient Greeks and continue to captivate us. They're like enduring case studies in the messy reality of the human condition.
Yeah, which sort of begs the question, how did the Greeks reconcile this idea of heroism with the seemingly inescapable forces of fate and divine will?
Good question.
Yeah.
Because the gods were always interfering, weren't they?
Constantly. The sources reveal that their understanding of heroism involved not just boundless courage in the face of adversity, but also a profound, often humbling respect for the gods.
You had to know your place.
You did. And an acknowledgement of their immense power and the often inescapable nature of destiny of fate.
Moira.
Moira, exactly. Heroes, no matter how mighty, often found their paths inextricably intertwined with, or even dictated by, divine decrees.
They couldn't just ignore the gods.
They might try. They might rage against fate. They might attempt to defy it. But more often than not, they ultimately succumbed to its inexorable pull or found their path to glory inextricably linked to it.
So, complex relationship.
Very. This delicate balance between heroic free will and divine decree, combined with their inherent tragic dimensions, the suffering, the profound loss, the inevitable mortality despite their greatness, this truly revealed the complexities of the human condition.
It wasn't always a happy ending.
Far from it. It wasn't always a tale of unadulterated triumph. Often, it was a story of enduring immense suffering with dignity, of accepting one's difficult lot, and of striving for excellence even in the shadow of impending doom.
Like Sisyphus, almost, but with more fighting.
In a way, their tragedies underscored the fragile line between glory and ruin, highlighting the often unpredictable and sometimes cruel nature of existence, even for the most powerful and divinely favored individuals.
Wow.
It spoke to a deep cultural awareness that even the strongest could not escape their destined path.
So, moving beyond just individual exploits and personal struggles, our sources underscore that heroes played an absolutely central role in the founding myths of cities and entire peoples.
Foundational figures, literally.
Yeah, they weren't simply figures to admire on pedestals. They were fundamental mythological architects, essential to forging a community's cultural and political identity.
They provided the origin story.
Exactly. Their legendary actions provided a deep, historical, and often divine justification for a city's customs, its laws, and indeed its very existence.
Gives it legitimacy.
Right. Consider Theseus, for instance. His monumental acts of unification and institutionalization in Athens weren't merely a series of personal victories or impressive monster-slaying feats.
Much bigger than that.
They were powerful foundational symbols of Athens' political and cultural ascent, providing a legendary bedrock for its self-image as a burgeoning, leading city-state.
He was Athens in myth.
Pretty much. His story gave the Athenians this powerful narrative of origin that explicitly linked their present glory and democratic ideals to a heroic past, imbuing their civic institutions with ancient, almost sacred authority. It allowed them to say, this is who we are, and this is why we are great.
And the broader context here is that the epics of these heroes, these stories, were actively utilized as crucial tools to reinforce the historical, moral, and religious foundations of these nascent city-states.
Not just entertainment, then. Educational.
Highly educational, yes. Imagine these narratives not just as stories, but as living traditions, recited in public squares, performed in festivals, passed down from elders to children.
Part of everyday life.
Absolutely.
Right.
They were far more than mere entertainment. They served as vital lessons, providing a robust framework for understanding not just history, but also morality, justice, and the very nature of existence.
Big questions.
Huge questions. They questioned humanity's place in the universe and its complex relationship with the gods. These narratives instilled a powerful sense of shared heritage and common values.
Brought people together.
Exactly, giving citizens a collective identity rooted in these legendary figures. They weren't just myths, they were the very cultural bedrock upon which society was constructed, serving as guiding principles for how to live, how to govern, and how to understand one's unique place in the intricate cosmic order.
Like the original social contracts.
Kind of, yeah. Written in the blood and triumphs of heroes.
Okay, now let's pivot. Let's talk about arguably the most famous and certainly one of the most psychologically complex Greek heroes, Heracles.
Ah, Heracles, the big one.
Right. His sprawling story is just a masterclass in combining almost unimaginable strength with profound personal challenges and, well, internal torment.
He's the archetype.
He is the archetypal strongman, the ultimate embodiment of raw, untamed power, yet his life is this relentless whirlwind of suffering, divine interference.
Hera.
Oh yeah, Hera. And ultimately a hard-won, often brutal redemption.
It wasn't easy for him.
Not at all. He truly stands as a figure of immense contrasts, a hero who achieves the impossible, but is simultaneously plagued by tragedy and intense internal conflict. It makes him far more than just a simple muscle-bound brawler.
Definitely not simple.
No. His epic saga truly delves into the very boundaries of human endurance, the complexities of destiny, and that enduring human struggle against both external foes and our own internal demons.
And one striking aspect of Heracles is his intricate lineage, his birth.
Right, son of Zeus.
Son of Zeus, king of the gods, and the mortal woman Alcmene.
So he's the ultimate demigod, right? A living symbol of the fusion of human nature and divine power.
Best of both worlds. Or worst.
Well, that's the question. He possesses the unparalleled might of Olympus running through his veins, yet he also carries the vulnerabilities and limitations of his mortal mother.
The human side.
Exactly. But what's truly compelling is how his very birth was marred by the intense conflicts and furious jealousies among the Olympian gods, particularly Hera.
Zeus's wife, not happy. Not happy at all. Hera's relentless, almost pathological anger at Zeus's infidelity led to countless, often sadistic plots against Heracles' life.
Right from the start.
Right from infancy, deepening his tragic dimension. This wasn't just a fleeting moment of divine spite, it was a lifelong vendetta, a divine curse that cast an inescapable shadow over his every step.
Forced him into struggle.
Exactly, forcing him into a life of constant struggle and suffering. This relentless divine opposition makes his eventual achievements all the more remarkable and underscores the sheer will required to overcome such cosmic adversity.
It's astonishing, isn't it, to think that as a baby,
Yeah.
Heracles already displayed his superhuman strength by strangling 2 enormous snakes sent by Hera to kill him in his crib.
Incredible image.
This wasn't merely a cute anecdote to be passed down. This early tale is a powerful, visceral omen of a life destined for constant struggle and immense suffering, often directly against divine will.
Marked from the beginning?
Totally. It immediately signaled that he was no ordinary child, that he was unequivocally marked for both unparalleled greatness and unimaginable hardship from the very beginning.
A heavy destiny.
Right, this incredible raw display of innate power, even in infancy, instantly establishes his extraordinary nature and serves as a chilling foreshadowing of the Herculean labors he would undertake throughout his tormented life.
It's a vivid illustration of that untamed, destructive, yet ultimately heroic power simmering within him.
A power that would both define his legendary heroism and lead him through immense trials and tribulations.
So, given all this hardship, all this divine antagonism, which begs the question, what did these struggles, especially the labors, represent in the larger narrative?
Yeah, the famous 12 labors.
The most renowned part of Heracles' legend, the 12 labors, were never just random tasks. Our sources reveal they symbolize his profound personal purification.
Cleaning his slate.
In a way, yes, and served as a divinely mandated form of atonement for the terrible guilt he incurred due to Hera's curse.
The madness.
The madness, exactly, which drove him to tragically harm his own family. These were specific, often seemingly impossible feats, meticulously designed to test his strength, cunning, and endurance to their absolute limits.
Pushing him,
all while purging him of a terrible, divinely inflicted guilt. Each labor was not merely a physical conquest, but a crucial step on a path of profound spiritual and moral cleansing.
A journey.
A grueling journey towards redemption that transformed him from a tormented, cursed soul into a truly revered and eventually deified hero.
So completing them wasn't just about strength.
No, it was about proving his profound worthiness, earning divine favor, and ultimately achieving a kind of spiritual catharsis.
Let's delve into a couple of these labors, maybe, because they're far more than simple monster hunts.
Absolutely. Which ones stand out to you?
Well, take the Nemean lion, for example.
Yeah.
First one.
Okay.
This wasn't just any beast. It was a symbol of invincibility, right? Its hide was impervious to conventional weapons.
Couldn't be pierced.
Right. So Heracles had to defeat it with his bare hands, which isn't just about brute strength. It's an incredible demonstration of sheer will and maybe innovative problem solving.
Had to think outside the box.
Exactly. And the hide itself became Heracles' iconic protective armor, a tangible trophy of his very first impossible feat, and a constant reminder of his overcoming the seemingly unconquerable.
Wearing his victory.
Yeah. Then there's the Lernaean Hydra.
Ooh, the Hydra. Classic.
Classic. With its terrifying ability to regenerate 2 heads for every one cut off, this multi-headed serpent symbolized death and rebirth, this relentless, ever-growing threat.
An exponential problem.
Totally. To defeat it, Heracles required not just raw power, but incredible strategy and cleverness. He had to cauterize each stump with fire to prevent regrowth.
With help, too.
Right, a task that demanded quick thinking, adaptability, and the crucial assistance of his nephew, Iolaus.
Teamwork.
Yeah. These aren't just displays of power. They are profound tests of intellect, adaptability, and unwavering perseverance against overwhelming, seemingly eternal odds.
And then, speaking of different kinds of challenges, we have the cleaning of the Augean stables.
Yes, the less glamorous one.
Perhaps less glamorous, yeah. At first glance, it might appear to be a purely physical feat, a seemingly mundane and dirty chore, almost beneath a hero of his stature.
Get your hands dirty. Or divert a river.
Exactly. Our sources truly highlight that this task embodies deep themes of problem-solving, ingenious resourcefulness, and a strong sense of justice.
How so? Justice.
Well, King Augeas was notorious for his immense stables, which hadn't been cleaned for decades, symbolizing deep-seated neglect and corruption. It was fouling the land.
Okay, so it's symbolic filth, too.
Symbolic and literal. Heracles, with a stroke of brilliant engineering and immense strength, diverted the courses of 2 rivers, the Alpheus and the Peneus, to flush out the filth in a single day.
Clever. Very clever.
It demonstrated that his heroism wasn't solely defined by combat prowess. It profoundly involved ingenuity, a deep commitment to restoring order, and rectifying a long-standing injustice that literally poisoned the land.
So these tasks, fighting a lion or cleaning a stable.
Right. They were not simply physical. They were complex, moral, intellectual, and even engineering tests, requiring a multifaceted approach to true heroism.
So when we pull back and look at the entire arc of the 12 labors, what does this all truly mean for, the ancient Greek understanding of humanity?
Well, the labors are profound allegories for humanity's arduous journey to overcome its own limits, both external and internal.
Our own monster.
Our own monsters, exactly. And to undergo a deep spiritual transformation. They aren't just a mere checklist of accomplishments. They represent the archetypal challenges we all face in life's grand narrative.
Universal struggles.
Absolutely. Each task reveals different, complex facets of human nature, our inherent weaknesses, our latent strengths, our deep-seated inner conflicts, and that delicate, often precarious balance between unbridled anger and profound patience.
Anger was a big one for Heracles.
A huge one. They teach us about the absolute necessity of perseverance in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, the critical importance of cunning alongside raw strength.
Brains and brawn.
Brains and brawn, and the ultimate triumphant spirit of humanity over both external monsters and our most terrifying internal demons. They serve as a powerful, enduring narrative of self-mastery and the relentless, often painful, pursuit of self-improvement.
Shows that even a demigod,
even a demigod, favored by Zeus himself, must earn his glory through immense struggle and profound suffering.
And what's truly fascinating, I think, when we examine Heracles' character, is that he is emphatically not a flawless hero.
Not even close.
And this very imperfection, rather than diminishing his stature, actually makes him incredibly compelling and deeply human.
Relatable in a strange way.
Yeah, his temporary bouts of madness, tragically influenced and induced by Hera, where he committed unspeakable acts, including harming his own family.
Horrific.
Horrific. They serve to profoundly humanize him. These dark, harrowing episodes, far from eroding his heroism, underscore the immense burden he carried and the constant struggle he faced against forces beyond his control, even against the very impulses within
Of
himself.
rage within.
Right. This allows him to represent both the destructive dark and the luminous light sides of human nature, demonstrating the terrifying potential of uncontrolled rage existing alongside incredible virtue.
The duality.
The duality, exactly. It makes his heroic journey deeper, more poignant, and far more multidimensional. His imperfections make it intensely relatable, showing that even the greatest among us grapple with internal demons and must confront the devastating consequences of their actions. It adds this profound layer of psychological complexity to his enduring myth.
And that tragic, deeply flawed aspect positions Heracles as a powerful, universal symbol of humanity's ongoing, often agonizing conflict. Conflict with fate, with the capricious gods, and even with our own unruly inner impulses.
A timeless struggle.
It really is. His story is a poignant, timeless exploration of suffering, guilt, and the relentless, often brutal pursuit of redemption.
And his ultimate acceptance into Olympus after death. His apotheosis.
Ah, the final act.
That's the absolute ultimate symbol of his unique place straddling both the human and divine worlds, isn't it?
It has to be. After a life defined by unimaginable hardship and extraordinary feats, he transcends mortality, becoming a god himself.
Earned his place.
Earned it indeed. This profound transformation is a universal representation of our collective innate desire to transcend our own limits, to overcome seemingly insurmountable adversity, and to achieve a form of spiritual ascent.
It proves that even through immense suffering and tragic error.
Right. True heroism can ultimately lead to ultimate glory and divine recognition. It's a powerful message of potential and overcoming.
Okay, so shifting our focus now, from the universal struggle of Heracles to another pivotal Greek hero. Theseus.
Theseus of Athens.
Exactly. While Heracles was, a hero of universal struggle, a kind of global troubleshooter confronting monsters and chaos across the known world.
Cleaning up the map.
Yeah. Theseus is deeply, intrinsically interwoven with the very fabric of Athens. He's unequivocally revered as its mythological founder and stands as a true hero of civilization.
City builder hero.
Right. His story isn't just about individual strength or brute force. It's about the fundamental building blocks of society, the establishment of law and order, and the very identity of what would become one of the greatest city-states in the ancient world.
He embodies Athens.
He truly is the embodiment of Athenian ideals, wisdom, justice, civic unity, a figure whose legend is utterly inseparable from the majestic rise of ancient Greece's most influential and iconic city.
Which brings us to a crucial point. How did Theseus ascend to such a foundational role? How did he become the architect of Athenian identity?
Good question. His origin story is complex.
Very. Our sources indicate his origin is remarkably complex, featuring two potential fathers, King Aegeus of Athens, mortal king, and the mighty sea god Poseidon.
Divine power.
Divine power again. This dual paternity isn't just a biographical detail. It's deeply symbolic of his dual human and divine roots, signifying his unique role in uniting two worlds, the mortal realm and the divine.
Gives him special authority.
Exactly, granting him a unique authority and an unparalleled destiny, and his perilous journey to Attica in his youth.
The land route.
The land route, where he deliberately chose the more dangerous path infested with monstrous brigands over the safe sea passage.
Why do that?
Well, it wasn't merely a physical adventure. It was a profound metaphor for maturation, a crucial rite of passage into true heroism. This choice was a deliberate demonstration of his courage, his commitment to justice.
Proving himself.
And a symbolic clearing of the land for civilization, marking his transformative transition from a young, unknown prince to a heroic liberator and ultimately a foundational leader.
And this is where the narrative truly springs to life, I think. The dangers and enemies he purposefully confronted on that chosen journey.
The roadside bandits.
Yeah, figures like the club-wielding Periphetes, the grotesque pine-bender Cenis, or the infamous stretcher-man Procrustes, who tailored victims to his bed.
Grim fellow.
Very grim. These weren't just random physical obstacles. They were chilling personifications of evil, lawlessness, and unbridled chaos that plagued the roads and preyed upon travelers.
Threats to civilization.
Exactly. Each decisive victory over these monstrous brigands was a tangible demonstration of his unwavering fight for justice and the establishment of order. It fundamentally emphasized his crucial role in establishing societal norms and foundational structure for a fledgling civilization.
Making the roads safe.
Right. By systematically defeating these embodiments of barbarity, Theseus didn't just gain personal renown, he literally cleared the path for safe travel, commerce, and communication, making the world safer for human civilization.
Laying the groundwork.
These acts were not solely about personal glory. They were about bringing light to pervasive darkness, establishing justice where tyranny reigned, and meticulously laying the groundwork for a more ordered, humane society. It set the stage for his even greater unifying work in Athens.
And when we connect this to the broader tapestry of Greek myth, Theseus's most iconic and deeply symbolic adventure is undoubtedly the Minotaur myth.
The labyrinth. Everyone knows the Minotaur.
Everyone knows Minotaur. The creature itself, a terrifying, unnatural, half-human, half-bull creature, born of unnatural lust and housed within an inescapable, bewildering labyrinth.
A monster born of transgression.
Precisely. It wasn't just a beast. It was a potent, visceral symbol of primal chaos, supernatural fear, and untamed, irrational forces.
The monstrous unknown.
Exactly. It represented everything that threatened order and reason, a profound primal fear of the monstrous and the uncontrollable within the human psyche and the natural world.
And the labyrinth itself.
The labyrinth itself, a complex, bewildering maze of dead ends and confusing passages, stood as a powerful metaphor for life's inherent difficulties and unknowns.
Getting lost in life.
Kind of, yeah. Representing the bewildering, often disorienting challenges that humanity faces, both external and internal. This pivotal myth encapsulates the timeless struggle between the forces of civilization and barbarism, between order and chaos, and between reason and irrationality.
So his audacious entry into that monstrous labyrinth, knowing the horror within, the almost certain death faced by everyone before him.
Sheer terror.
That was far more than a simple act of bravery, wasn't it? It was an act of courageously stepping into the deepest unknown, confronting absolute darkness.
Facing the fear.
And crucially, establishing order through the power of reason. He didn't just rush in blindly. He entered with a plan, with foresight.
Ariadne's thread.
Ariadne's thread. It was never just a physical tool for navigation, a simple string to find his way out.
No, much more symbolic.
It was a profound symbol of reason, of wisdom, and of divine guidance, the very tools of intellect and foresight that allowed humanity to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles and confront the darkest of fears.
Intelligence over brute force.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This myth became an absolutely central pillar of Athens' burgeoning cultural identity, symbolizing civilization's ultimate triumph over barbarism. It demonstrated that courage, when combined with intellect, strategic thinking, and maybe divine favor, could overcome even the most monstrous and chaotic threats. It served as a powerful, enduring narrative of Athenian ingenuity, bravery, and their core civic virtues.
And what's truly remarkable here, shifting focus slightly, is that Theseus is celebrated not just as a hero of individual courageous acts, but primarily as the political founder and unifier of Athens.
The Synechismos.
The Synechismos, exactly. He's credited with bringing together the various small independent city-states and scattered settlements of Attica through this pivotal process, literally dwelling together.
Creating the city-state.
Yes. This wasn't merely a political event, a strategic consolidation of power. It was understood by the Athenians as a profound cultural rebirth, the very genesis and rise of civilization for them.
A new beginning.
A new beginning. It transformed a collection of disparate, often competing settlements into a powerful, cohesive city-state, laying the essential mythological groundwork for Athens' future democratic ideals and its unparalleled prominence in the Greek world.
So his actions created the entity that became the Athens we think of.
Pretty much, yeah. The unified political entity that would become the beacon of democracy, philosophy, and culture for millennia to come.
So his legendary reign is therefore deeply associated with establishing foundational laws and a robust sense of order. It showcases this profound sense of justice that went far beyond mere individual bravery or physical strength.
More than just monster slaying.
Much more. He wasn't just a slayer of monsters, he was a lawgiver, a wise statesman, a founder of enduring institutions.
The civilizing hero.
Right. This deep commitment to justice was inextricably linked to ensuring societal welfare and lasting peace, laying the very foundations for a just, stable, and prosperous society.
Which gives Theseus a truly unique and elevated position among Greek heroic epics.
How so?
Well, his heroism wasn't confined to physical struggles against external foes, but about profoundly reshaping the spirit, the governance, and the fundamental order of society itself. He was, in essence, the architect of Athenian society.
Building the city.
Building the city, yes. A hero whose greatest feats were in the realm of governance, social organization, and the establishment of civic virtue, rather than just brute force.
Okay, so after this journey through the lives of Heracles and Theseus, what does all of this deeply embedded mythology truly mean for the ancient Greeks themselves? What was the impact?
Right, stepping back to the bigger picture.
Yeah. The stories of Heracles and Theseus were never just bedtime tales or entertaining epics to pass the time. They were like the very air the Greeks breathed.
Absolutely fundamental.
Our sources clearly demonstrate that these myths profoundly reflected the societal values, the moral codes, and even the intricate psychological makeup of ancient Greek society. They delve deeply into the complexity of human nature and universal themes.
And cultural mirrors.
Exactly, cultural mirrors reflecting the deepest concerns, aspirations, anxieties, and the very philosophical underpinnings of the people who told and retold them.
They provided an indispensable framework for understanding their world,
Making sense of it all.
their place within it, and the fundamental moral principles that guided their lives, from the humblest farmer to the most powerful statesman.
So this then prompts a vital question. How are these stories actively used, like in a practical, day-to-day sense within ancient Greek society?
That's key. They were, in fact, deeply integrated into social education and served as powerful moral guides.
Lessons for life.
Absolutely. Imagine young children growing up, hearing these vivid tales, learning not just, historical facts, but profound ethical lessons from the heroes' triumphs and, crucially, their failures, too.
Learning from mistakes.
Yes. The daunting challenges and intense struggles faced by these heroes were potent, tangible lessons for younger generations, imparting virtues like unwavering courage, profound patience, unwavering justice, and practical wisdom.
Values embodied.
Exactly. These weren't just abstract concepts, they were embodied, lived out, and immortalized in these larger-than-life figures. Furthermore, these myths played an absolutely vital role in constructing both individual identity and, perhaps even more importantly, a collective civic identity. Belonging, with heroes often revered as common ancestors and powerful protectors of their respective polei, their cities. They gave communities a shared lineage, a deep sense of belonging, and a powerful unifying narrative of their origins and their collective destiny.
And this is where the human element really resonates, I think. Our sources compellingly point out that the tragic aspects and inherent weaknesses of these heroes.
Their flaws.
Their flaws, yeah. They create a profound awareness of humanity's own imperfect, often contradictory nature. These towering figures, though semi-divine, were far from flawless paragons.
Thank goodness, almost.
Right. Their suffering, their moments of uncontrolled anger, their occasional bouts of madness, their profound personal tragedies, these raw, often painful elements vividly illuminated the complex, tumultuous emotions within the human psyche.
Showed the dark side, too.
Totally. They unflinchingly showed that even the greatest heroes experienced despair, irrational rage, debilitating fear, and profound loss, making them incredibly relatable despite their extraordinary godlike abilities.
They weren't just symbols of power and victory.
No, they were also profound representatives of human psychology and philosophy, offering timeless insights into the depths of human emotion, the complexities of moral dilemmas, and the inescapable, often brutal presence of suffering in human life.
They taught the Greeks, maybe, to embrace their humanity, flaws and all.
That's a nice way to put it.
And broadening our perspective once more, these myths also served an incredibly crucial social and political function, legitimizing the intricate political and religious structures of the various city-states.
Justifying the status quo.
Sometimes, yes, or explaining its origins. The legends of these heroes were directly, inextricably linked to the very founding of cities, their specific forms of governance, and even the sacred origins of their most ancient religious ceremonies.
Like Theseus in Athens.
Exactly like Theseus in Athens. The founding myths provided a powerful, almost divine narrative justification for its emerging democratic ideals and its unique political organization. These stories weren't just entertaining narratives, they provided a deep historical and sacred precedent.
For how things were?
For how society was structured, why it was governed in a particular way, and where its authority ultimately lay. Heroic mythology, therefore, was a foundational, indispensable element in shaping both individual and collective identity in the ancient Greek world.
Gave them roots.
It gave them roots, a shared history, common purpose, and a profound sense of continuity rooted in a glorious, heroic past.
So as we bring our deep dive to a close, it feels abundantly clear that between, say, 800 and 500 BC, Greek mythology, particularly through these towering figures of Heracles and Theseus, left an absolutely indelible mark on human history and culture.
The lasting legacy.
A huge one. These heroes are not confined to their era. They are universal symbols of humanity's relentless quest to explore the very limits of our nature,
Pushing boundaries.
and our ongoing, often tumultuous, struggle with both the capricious divine and the vast, unpredictable natural world. Their tales transcend the specifics of ancient Greece, speaking directly to fundamental human experiences of power, vulnerability, triumph, and aspiration.
They're archetypes.
Enduring archetypes that continue to resonate across millennia, reminding us of the timeless nature of these foundational struggles and the universal yearning for meaning and purpose.
And what's truly captivating here, I think, is that their stories encapsulate so much more than just individual heroism or simple physical victories.
Deeper layers.
So many deeper layers. They delve into profound, enduring themes of moral responsibility, the inherent nature of tragedy, the possibility of deep personal transformation, and even the revolutionary reshaping of entire societies.
Melissa.
Huge stuff. These myths reveal the immense aesthetic, philosophical, and social depth of Greek mythology, offering a comprehensive and remarkably nuanced worldview that perpetually questioned human existence and our place within the grand cosmos.
They weren't simple answers.
No, they were complex explorations, not merely fables or simplistic allegories. They are intricate tapestries of meaning, exploring the human condition in all its beauty, its fragility, and its struggle, providing a profound, timeless lens through which to understand the world and our complex place within it.
So, as you reflect on all of this, our listener, what does this rich tapestry of ancient heroism truly mean for you? Ultimately, the sagas of Heracles and Theseus underscore the indispensable nature of heroic mythology across all human cultures. Their tales, extending far beyond mere strength and courage, are timeless mythological narratives of humanity's constant, often painful striving to transcend ourselves, to courageously confront our destiny, and to find profound meaning and purpose within the intricate web of society.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, what heroes we are consciously or unconsciously creating for our own complex age.
Our modern myths.
Right. And what profound lessons they might in turn impart to future generations about themselves, about us, about the enduring human spirit.